You're listening to the Call Kent podcast, where Kent C. Dodds answers questions and gives insights to software engineers like you. Now, let's hear the call.
Hi, Kent. Big fan since I started learning React many months ago. My name is Asier, and I hope you're having a good day. My question is about React custom hooks and your opinion on the following. Imagine there is one parent component in charge of rendering two children components. This parent component is using a custom hook to retrieve some relevant data. Let's say that it receives the username and the date of birth for a particular user, for instance. The first child component requires a prop for the username and another prop for the date of birth, where the second child component requires one prop, but only for the date of birth. My assumption was always to use the hook as close as possible to its usage, in this case, within both children components and not in the parent component. What should be the more readable choice between using the hook just once in the parent component and drilling the props downwards to the children, as opposed to using the hook in each individual component? Thanks.
And that was the call. Here's what Kent had to say.
Hey, thank you so much for the question. So, this one's the specific example that you give. I think it's important to acknowledge that hooks have semantic meanings on the components that they're called in, and so it's not just a matter of, well, I could call it in the parent or I could call it in each of the children, because you're talking about like making request to data, and so that would be like if that hook actually makes the request, that's the choice between should I request data in the parent or should I request the data twice in each of the children, or once in each of the children, so twice total. Which I think would be probably a bad idea, and I would just do it in the parent. I do typically like to co-locate stuff, but we do lift state for a reason, and this is one of those cases where I think you'd want to. In general, though, I do appreciate them keeping code as close to where it's relevant as possible, but in the case of something like a hook that requests data, I think you're much better off making sure that that you're only making a single network request. So if I misunderstood your question or got too tied up in a specific example, then feel free to make another call and I will respond to you then. I hope that is helpful. Have a nice day.
This has been the Call Kent podcast. Learn more about Kent at kentcdodds.com and get your own questions answered at kentcdodds.com/calls.